Everything changed the moment the system awakened. Levels, stats, skills, dungeons, power beyond imagination. With the blood of a Saiyan, the mind of a gamer, and a destiny that will shake the entire shinobi world, Naruto is about to become something far greater than Hokage. This is Naruto, the Gamer Experience. Now let's begin today's chapter. Naruto, Mujina and Dryger were on the back of a horse familiar to them or from the same family as Moondancer called Seafire and is the opposite of him. It has been 3 days since leaving Ouroboros and 4 days since the two high elves Guilin and Ragel formed their group. Also, this would be the last job of the Maelstrom Familia because Ingrid shockingly decided to return to Yukake's for personal reasons. This would have the effect of having Aisha, Samira, and Lena leaving and joining fellow Amazons in a new familia similar to the former Ishtari. Daphne and Cassandra would begin working at the Host of Fertility, also aiding any familia for the right price. Are we going to talk about Guilin and Ragel? Oh, my mistake, Ragel Burin Holoth, Naruto says, and Mujina looks to the white clouds with various thoughts in her eyes. Guilin I knew from childhood. She was always nice to me despite being half human. Ragel knows him and is an elitist. He looks down on other races, Mujina explains. She is wearing a straight-lined black jacket, a black girdle having red buttons, black shorts to her thighs and white leggings with a pair of black horse riding boots. Naruto is wearing a straight-lined but sleeveless black jacket, black hybrid hakama cargo pants with horse riding boots, his muffler and arm-length gloves that secure by his middle fingers. Will he work with us or will he ignore our logic? Naruto says. If it earns him prestige he will, Mujina says, and Naruto nods. 3 days later the group were in a prestigious inn in the imperial capital city of Arwinter while only Guilin and Ragel were allowed to see the emperor. How long do you want to stay here? Mujina says, laying on her bed. Tristram isn't a haven for adventurers unlike Azarlesia, and going back to Ouroboros isn't prudent as Ingrid has dissolved Maelstrom. So we can head to Yukake's for a while, Naruto says, scratching Dryger's head. A week of negotiations passes without their input as Naruto, Dryger, and Mujina explore Arwinter with the architecture and layout of the city being quite advanced but not to the level of Republic City. The roads of the city are segregated into separate lanes to allow for ease of traffic. Raised sidewalks and fences bordering the streets have been erected to ensure the safety of pedestrians. Seems knights patrol the city streets, Mujina says, as they walk through the central market. They got to see the Imperial Palace from a distance, the Grand Arena, and got to see some gladiatorial fights, also the Ministry of Magic and Imperial Art Museum. However, by week's end their group would grow thanks to 3 worker teams known as Dragon Hunt, Heavy Masher, and Tenmu. I don't like this, Naruto says, riding Seafire. Their original group is much larger than before with the additional worker teams but others as well tending to wagons but also horses. I agree. It's like we're going exploring instead of hunting a dragon, Mujina says, riding Dryger. None of the worker teams were even near his level or even Mujina's level, but Ragel has hired these groups. Quest received. 1. Defeat Balerion. 2. Defeat Balerian's 4 kings. 0 fourths. 1. 1 million EXP. 2. Lightning Evolution. Mujina. Stay close to me. We have a quest, Naruto says, riding close to her. How bad? Mujina says. Serious, Naruto says. Soon the large group reaches a place to set up camp near the supposed man-made dungeon created by Balerion. Ragel would eventually call the leaders of each group to explain they would attack from several points with one group remaining behind, something Sypha and Ors agree to. While the workers take the north, Akai Senko east, Ganesha's Familia the west with Riegel and Guilin the south. I've heard good things about you, Jiger, Guilin says, after Ragel dismisses them. So have I, Naruto says. Protect her, Jiger, Guilin says, softly. I will because I don't like this, Naruto says, heading to grab his gear and sends a concealed clone skyward. The exterior outside the dungeon is 200 meters wide in all four directions, enclosed by 6-meter-tall perimeter walls surrounding the dungeon, with two entrances being the front and back gates. There are lots of broken statues dotting around a cemetery, some of which could have been regarded as a piece of art lingering about. In addition to our 4 mausoleums or tombs in the 4 cardinal directions, with a large mausoleum in the center. Do we head for the center mausoleum? Mujina asks, as they reach the wall and make their way up. Yes. Something is off, Naruto says, as they head for the center mausoleum and up the steps. Each group reach the outer mausoleums as Akai Senko reach 2 steel doors and Naruto pushes them open, but the floor glows brightly. Naruto, Mujina shouts, grabbing him from behind, and all the teams vanish into Balerian's dungeon. Mujina's eyes snap open to some underground cavern, but a weight is on top of her and the smell of burnt flesh assaults her nose, and Naruto. Dryger, she says. Ha ha ha. Man. He survived my hellfire barrage, a snide voice says, near Mujina's right. She attempts to move and looks down to see red hair as her eyes widen. Naru. Mujina says, before he is kicked aside. Hello, beauty. I'm Locus. One of the 4 kings of Balerion, a figure says, looming over her. He has pale skin, platinum blonde shoulder-length hair and piercing yellow eyes in black attire. Locus goes to grab her, but Mujina uses Kawarimi to avoid him and bring out her daggers, with her eyes glancing to the downed Naruto. His clothes are torn and his back is covered in burns with large holes in his jacket. When you two arrived, he immediately shielded you. How noble of him. Not, Locus says, sticking his finger into his mouth to fake gag. Mujina grits her teeth with anger in her eyes and rushes Locus to unleash several swipes, but he avoids her as he leaps to fire several fireballs, forcing her dodge, but one explodes into her and tosses her back. I have been given power by Balerion. Some half-elf can't defeat me, Locus says, as Mujina struggles to one knee. He rushes in and knees Mujina in the face as her nose sprays blood, but she slices him across his belly. You fucking bitch, Locus shouts and grabs her by her hair, but she drives her dagger in his right leg. He staggers back and Mujina makes it to her feet, but her eyes widen as several fireballs surround her while Locus laughs. Take this, bitch, Locus says, and Mujina screams as they explode into her. She crashes to the ground as Locus cackles and raises his left arm, but a hand grabs his wrist. You, Locus says, looking into the cold eyes of Naruto. Asshole, Locus says, but cries out as Naruto goes SSJ and squeezes his wrist. Naruto whips Locus around into a crushing body blow, adding a vigorous left fist as Locus staggers back with blood coming from his mouth. Why you, Locus hisses and prepares some fireballs. However, Naruto closes in with a lightning breaker to Locus' face and twisting his head completely around as he crashes to the ground. Naruto rushes to Mujina and turns her on her back as her eyes slowly open. And Naruto, she says, and he helps her to her feet. Where's Dryger, she adds. I don't know. I don't even know where we are, Naruto says, looking around. Could we be inside Balerion's dungeon, Mujina says, as Naruto heals her nose with Iriajitsu. Maybe, Naruto says, but begins to hear running water. I hear water, he adds. So do I. There, Mujina says, as the pair head to her left and find steps leading upwards to a waterfall. Music, Will of the Heart Bleach OST. Are the others having the same issue as us? Mujina says, running her hand through the waterfall. Naruto passes through into another cavern, but his eyes widen as Mujina's eyes widen too at the sight of numerous bodies, namely the bodies of the 3 worker teams in various states of gore. Please. I need help, a voice says, in the distance. Naruto and Mujina head down quickly as the voice coughs with continuing calls for help. I am here, the voice says, near their right, and both freeze at the sight before them. Guilin, Mujina says, her eyes wide. Guilin lays in a pool of her own blood with both her legs missing, a spiral-like spear in stomach and blood coming from her closed eyes. Guilin, Mujina shouts, rushing to her side. Mujina. Ah, I get to hear your voice before I die, Guilin says, reaching out for her and Mujina takes her hand. What happened? How did this happen? Mujina says. He did this as penance for laying a hand on him. Rachel and I were separated. I found the workers dead in him, Guilin says and coughs more blood. Naruto help her, Mujina says, desperation in tone. It's too late. He made sure to make me suffer, Guilin says as Naruto kneels next to her. At first he took my legs. Then my eyes as some mockery of heightening my other senses, she adds, and Mujina nearly vomits. Do you have any last words? Naruto says, taking her other hand. I don't want to die. I'm scared, Guilin says, tears flowing from her eyes and mixing with the blood. Mujina hugs Guilin tightly as she hugs her back. I regret not saving you from him. I'm so sorry, Mujina, Guilin whispers. It was never your fault. I never blamed you, Mujina says, tears flowing from her eyes. Naruto Uzumaki. If you can, please cremate my body and bring my ashes back to my sister in Albion, Guilin says. We will, Naruto says, nodding. Thank you, Guilin says and releases one last breath, causing Mujina to sob loudly. Naruto makes a dozen clones as he tries to help Mujina to her feet and she clutches him. Seal her body and bury the others, he says. How can this happen? Mujina says. I don't know, but we should get moving, Naruto says. Mujina wipes her tears as Naruto takes her hand after taking the scroll from his clone. A few of you gather some natural energy, he says, and a few nod. Naruto and Mujina follow a path but soon find themselves outside with a cloudy red sky. Is this inside the dungeon? She says, seeing moving clouds. Or an illusion? Naruto says. Song ends. It's very much real, a voice says. Naruto moves in front of Mujina as both see a muscular figure sitting on a rock having slicked back white hair and red eyes. Who are you? Naruto says. Byron. One of the 4 kings of Beleriand, the figure says, wearing only black trousers and boots. Did you kill Guilin? Mujina says, anger in her eyes. And if I did? Are you going to throw your life away like her? Byron says. Naruto has his eyes closed as he draws in some natural energy and raises his left hand, before firing a final shine and killing a hidden figure covered bandages. You have good senses to kill Guello. However, facing me is tantamount to suicide. So why throw away your life away so recklessly? Byron says, moving off the rock. Head back to the entrance, Naruto says, and Mujina does, but Byron fires a single orb of lightning towards her as Naruto vanishes, sending it skyward with a backfist. That's a question you should ask yourself, Byron, Naruto says, and both rush each other with simultaneous rights. Byron sends a left but Naruto catches it and it becomes a test of strength as both lock hands. How? Naruto roars, going SSJ 2 amped by Sage mode as blue lines run down his body from his left eye. Both break their test of strength as they connect with right and left respectively into a furious barrage unseen by the naked eye, with Naruto coming out on top, sending Byron crashing through the rock he was sitting on. Byron recovers and grabs a sharp piece of rock and hurls it to hit Naruto in the stomach near his side, before firing a lightning orb as Naruto sidesteps it and closing in. Vigorous left fist Fukuryu, Naruto shouts, cracking Byron in the face and sending him sliding across the ground from the concussive punch. Byron staggers to his feet as Naruto pulls the rock from his body and Byron makes a lightning sword, rushing Naruto and slashing him where he rock was with a spray of blood. Naruto staggers back as Byron leaps up to bring his lightning blade down, but Naruto connects with a rising dragon, sending Byron on his back one again, and he tries to sweep Naruto as he closes in, but the redhead avoids him. I'll rip out your eyes like that bitch, Byron shouts, spearing Naruto, but the redhead halts them and lifts Byron for a powerbomb. Naruto grabs Baron's legs and swings him like a tree, but Byron corrects with several skips back, conjuring numerous lightning lances and fires them as Naruto weaves signs to ram. Futon, Atsugai, Naruto declares, firing a compressed tornado-like and high-density blast. Byron gasps as his lances are destroyed and inflicting massive damage on the close surroundings as well, before a final shine comes from the rising debris cloud and detonates into Byron. Naruto finds Byron on his stomach and looking worse for wear, no more. Grant me mercy, Byron says, and Naruto flares his aura with a point of his right hand. You who are without mercy, now plead for it. Fuck you and die. Bararak Saika, Naruto says, erasing Byron with a blue lightning-like blast. Music, Skylar Khan War Machine. However, suddenly a tight magenta blast pierces through Naruto's left shoulder with a spray of blood, and he quickly clutches the wound as he crashes to the ground. Another blast cuts through the ground and grazes Naruto's stomach. Defeating my kings is impressive for some human, a voice says. Naruto has one eye closed from the pain but sees a man with messy black hair and red reptilian eyes, wearing a black-white outfit similar to a military uniform. Balerian, Naruto thought, as Musashi begins to heal his shoulder wound. Naruto, Mujina shouts, firing several arrows, and Balerian catches all three as he moves towards her. Naruto grabs Balerian's leg, but he wrenches his leg free and drives it into Naruto's head to crack the ground as his shoulder sizzles. Mujina closes in with her daggers and Balerian dodges her swipes, but a backhand crashes into her, sending her rolling across the ground while Naruto spears him from behind. However, Balerian grabs Naruto in a headlock and slams 3 hard punches to his face, but Naruto flares his aura into a headlock suplex, before using his Hiraishin to Mujina's dagger as blood runs down her face. Boya, Musashi shouts, and Naruto throws his hands up to block a blast of fire that pushes him back, burning his gloves as he comes to a halt and falls to one knee. Mujina attempts to rush to Naruto, but Balerian grabs her from behind and slams her head into the ground. Why do you continue to struggle? Why not capitulate like the other elf, he says, and Mujina gasps. Our regal, Mujina says, and Balerian grins. Once he saw my power. He laid himself low. Will you do the same, Balerian says, and Mujina hisses, never, then die, he says, about to crush her head, but the winds pick up. That's enough, Naruto roars, to the skies of the man-made dungeon. His SSJ aura causes rippling dust clouds, his power rises, and a small quaking of the area as Balerian kicks Mujina aside, only for her to be caught by one of his clone and he vanishes. Naruto's golden hair lengthens to pass his, but with some streaks of red like flames, his eyebrows vanish and give him a more prominent brow and eye ridges. You've grown in power, human, but will it be enough, Balerian says, folding his arms. Music change, G Gundam music, Kyudai Kasuru Yabu. Naruto flares his aura and lowers his stance before rocketing forward as Balerian prepares to move his head to avoid Naruto's punch, but the left straight connects with his face. Balerian staggers back, but Naruto is on him with rights and lefts. How can this be, Balerian thought, beginning to block Naruto's flurry of punches, but he is being pushed back. Each continue move faster and faster as both blink across the area, but Balerian pushes a heavy kick to Naruto's side, sending him crashing across the rocky ground, and Balerian crashes into him. The Black Dragon unleashes a relentless barrage of blows for 5 minutes that pushes the redhead into a rock face, but a lightning breaker crashes through, sending Balerian flying back, and Naruto launches after him. Destructive second bullet, Naruto shouts, sending an energy-charged right to Balerian's gut and sending him crashing down. Naruto launches for the crater made by Balerian, but a wide burst of flames erupts as Naruto narrowly avoids it, but his left leg is burned. A fist slams into Naruto from a near 20-foot-tall Balerian in a dragon humanoid form. His cranium extends pretty far back and distorts his face while attaining 2 horns. Armor and horns also grows on his shoulders, back, forearms, and ankles at various lengths. Naruto dispels a clone and feels an infusion of sage chakra as Balerian roars. Be honored, human, Balerian says. We'll see, Naruto thought, flexing his aura and flying forward. Balerian swings a curving left, but Naruto avoids it and slams a heavy combo of punches or kicks. Die, Balerian roars, firing a wave of fire, and Naruto avoids it into several energy blasts. Naruto raises his hands as his Razanova and Raisin Shuriken form. Slowly they coalesce into the prominence Rasengan, but grows larger thanks to sage energy, becoming the same size as Balerian. Senpo, Big Bang Prominence Rasengan Naruto roars, bringing down and the large screeching nova. Valerian catches it as it pushes him and burning his skin, but Naruto is not done as he is charging his Gallic gun. You damn human, Valerian hisses, his feet fracturing the ground. Gah! Gallic gun, Naruto roars, firing the purple energy blast. It hits his combined Rasengan and assimilates with the screeching orb as it explodes like miniature tactical nuke, which engulfs Naruto as well. Song ends. Quest partially complete. 1. Defeat Valerian. 2. Defeat Valerian's 4 kings. 3/4. 1. 1,000,000 EXP. Naruto's eyes snap open in a tent and he slowly sits up with bandages over his upper body but sees Mujina sleeping next to him with Dryger. You lost out on the Raiton evolution, Musashi says. Still got EXP, Naruto thought. He moves off the floor and leaves the tent, but the camp is much smaller than before, which he would learn is because Ragel has headed back to Tristram with his tail between his legs, while Sypha and Ors left for Ouroboros with Valerian's core as payment for killing the missing member of the 4 kings and Ganesha's familia following. She'll probably tell the guild. Ors got the final blow helping you and you graciously gave it to you, Musashi says, as Naruto goes back inside the tent. She seemed like the type, Naruto says, checking his and Mujina's things to find the scroll containing Guilan's body. Dryger wakes up and trots to Naruto as the redhead rubs her head while a soft groan echoes as Mujina's eyes flutter open. Seems the sleeping princess has awakened, he says, as Mujina slowly sits up. Where are we? Mujina asks. The camp or what's left, Naruto says and explains what several told him. Ragel is a coward. You heard Valerian, Mujina says. Which is why we'll head back to Tristram to see the Emperor, Naruto says, coming to kneel next to her and handing her Guilan's scroll. Mujina feels a lump in her throat as she holds the scroll containing Guilan's body and Naruto pulls her head into his chest. You're not alone, he says. I wished I talked to her more, but I didn't want to cause her trouble, Mujina whispers, crying softly as Dryger crawls into her lap with soft mews. There's never enough time for those we lose, Naruto says. Mujina slowly pulls back with a small sniffle. Can we ask those here to aid us in building a pyre for her, she says. I'm sure for a price they would, Naruto says, but the helpers did it for free, as a few knew Guilan. Before sunset, Mujina stands before the pyre in her casual clothes of a gray hoodie over a black shirt over a white collar shirt, a red tie, a black skirt and tights with brown boots. Naruto is wearing a dark Henley and dark cargo pants with harness boots as he places Guilan's body on the pyre and laces her hands on her waist. Mujina takes a lit torch from one of the helper and tosses it into the pyre as it catches fire. Everyone says prayers to their own and Naruto comes around to Mujina as tears run down her face. He takes her hand in his own and she leans into him as her tears continue to flow. Memories of her childhood coming back, like sneaking away to play with Guilan or learning with her as well. She always had the best sweets, Mujina whispers, and Naruto says really as she says yes, smiling softly. What's her sister like? Naruto asks. Alania is a bit of bookworm and is a strong mage but loved Guilan very much, Mujina says and sniffles. She'll be devastated, she adds. We'll face it together, Naruto says. A week later they were back in Arwinter with a plan formulating as the Emperor didn't take foreign visitors, but he did meet the winner of an up-and-coming gladiatorial tournament. Is this really wise? Why not use your shinobi skills, Mujina says, laying on a bed with Dryger. And have the whole kingdom on us. Winning a tourney is easy and we can head to Albion to see Alania, Naruto says, looking at the store for some items. He buys some light armor for his chest, shins, forearms and a jester's mask with a coat having a high collar. Over the course of 5 days the gladiatorial tournament takes place until 4 fighters were chosen, being Naruto, Marcus Vivian, a son of a former noble, Korra War Troll and Caspian. The most dangerous is Caspian as a necromancer, Musashi says. Yeah. It's like the Edo Tensei but requires no sacrifices, Naruto thought and glances to Marcus, learning quickly that the fallen noble's son has done every underhanded thing to reach this point. Core and Caspian leave the arena as Marcus faces Naruto with a smug look on his face. It's fitting you have a jester mask. You will do well to entertain me and the crowd, Marcus says. The wind lightly blows Naruto's flame-like blonde hair as he reaches for Jaeger Zweihander while Marcus draws his long sword. With a sword that long, he can't attack and counter quickly, Marcus thought, and release his Ki in the form of aura. Naruto readies himself with the tip of his sword touching the ground and Marcus rushes him as the redhead swings, but Marcus avoids him with a wide smile and rushing along the length, aiming for Naruto with forward thrust. The redhead switches hands to Marcus' shock and forcing him to block as he is sent flying. Naruto is on Marcus with several heavy swings and put him on the back foot. How the hell is this kid besting me, Marcus thought. Naruto leaps and brings sword down with two hands as Marcus narrowly dodges, but his eyes widen as the crater made by the long sword. Impossible, Marcus shouts, but Naruto is on him with a baseball-like swing that sends Marcus crashing into the wall and Naruto getting the victory. The crowd were enthused by the fight, but a few lost a fair amount of money. The next match is more thrilling as Caspian summons numerous undead warriors to face Core and the war troll tears through them. A Dullahan and Death Knight make their appearance to show Caspian's skills as a mage, even overcoming Core the war troll and raises him as his tool. Your flames should incinerate them, Musashi says, as Naruto makes his way back to the arena floor while Caspian does the same with his face hidden by the hood of his robes. He immediately raises Core, the Dullahan and Death Knight while Naruto holds his sword with both hands. The Dullahan makes the first move and gallops forward as Naruto does the same, igniting his sword with flame sword chi. Naruto skids and swings to cleave through horse but also the rider with a mesmerizing flame sword chi, inferno cut he thought, and Musashi sighs. The Death Knight is on him with heavy swings of sword and shield but the reach of Jaeger keeps him away. Core closes in and his double-sided axe but Naruto avoids him to slice into his leg. Crimson Cyclone, Naruto shouts, letting go of his sword as blue flames comes from Core's body. Katun, Goryuka no Jetsu, Naruto declares, unleashing a dragon head flame into the Death Knight. Flames capable of killing my tools. However, can you defeat this? Caspian says and raises his hands, come forth. Skeletal dragons, he adds. Two skeletal dragon rise composed of countless human-like bones with an overall height up to 3 meters tall. Its head contains 4 hollow eye sockets, each with a crimson glow. The jaw of the skull is lined with sharp teeth along with a pair of bat-like wings attached to its shoulders and 4 limbs. How interesting. What will you do? Jester Gynix Vita Dalis 4 says. He is handsome young man with shining blonde hair and shining green eyes, wearing elegant robes. Naruto may go overboard, Mujina thought, holding Dryger in her lap as those in the crowd were murmuring in shock or cheering. Both dragons roar as Naruto summons his sword and seals it away while Kajin smiles wide. Have you given up? Caspian declares. Naruto flares his SSJ aura out as many gasp, no. I won't need Jaeger to end this, he says and angers Caspian. Skeletal dragons. Make him my newest tool, Caspian shouts and both dragons scamper forward. Naruto weaves 7 signs and ends in tiger with an inhale, Katun, Goka Meshitsu, he thought, spewing flames that expands into a veritable sea of flames. The Uchiha will not be happy, Musashi says. They were in the store, Naruto thought, as 2 clones form and vanish. Caspian sees the sea of flames and goes to buff his dragons but 2 fists hit his face from each side, knocking him out and the clones vanishing as the dragons are erased. Naruto rests his boot on Caspian's back as he is called the winner and flies up to the Emperor's box to the shock of many. Emperor Gynix Vita Dalis 4. Forgive my impertinence. My name is Naruto Uzumaki from Balerian's subjugation lead by Ragel Burin Holith and Guilan Lia Niana, Naruto says, removing his mask and powering down. I remember. You chose gladiatorial combat to gain my attention, Gynix says and Naruto nods, clever and as the winner. You may have some of my time, he continues and grabs a sealed envelope. I am having a banquet in 1 week. Come and we will speak, Naruto Uzumaki, he finishes. Thank you Emperor Gynax Vita Dalis for Naruto says, taking the envelope. I look forward to your interpretation of events Gynax says and Naruto bows, vanishing. Banquet invitation Mujina says, looking over the envelope in her hand. Naruto is looking through the store for clothes for the banquet for him and her, yeah. He'll only talk to us there he says, scratching Dryger's head. Did you see Ragel with the Emperor Mujina asks but Naruto shakes his head, maybe he will attend the banquet she adds. Maybe Naruto says. He chooses black slacks, leather belt, orange dress shirt, black suit vest and black tie with white gloves. Mujina chooses a simple outfit to match Naruto of a pleated black skirt that is to her knees in the front and long in the back, orange dress shirt having frilly black cuffs and corset vest, black stocking and mini tie with cropped gloves, loosely high heel shoes that tie at her ankles. A week passes and the Banquet is in full swing as Naruto and Mujina move through, a few people whispering about them or Mujina's beauty. You are beautiful Naruto says and Mujina holds his arm tighter, blushing a little. There's the Emperor Mujina says and Naruto sees Gynax with several people but also his guards in full armor. Emperor Gynax Vita Dalis for Naruto says, as they near him. Naruto Uzumaki and who is his fetching beauty Gynax says. Mujina. Emperor Gynax Vita Dalis 4-inch Mujina says, a slight curtsy. Did you also take part in Balerian's subjugation Gynax says, beckoning for them to follow with his guards? I did Mina says. He leads them to private room with a few sofas. Why did you wish to speak with me about Gynax says, as he sits on. Naruto takes a seat and Mujina does the same as she crosses her legs, Ragel Burin Holleth. He capitulated to Balerian before I encountered him he says, as Gynax sits his wine in thought. It seems Ragel left out this when speaking to me. He told me all of you were separated and he faced one of Balerian's 4 kings. Forcing it to flee Gynax SAS. We were separated. I faced 3 in Balerian Naruto says. One of them killed the worker teams and Guilin Lia Niena. She was brutally tortured Mujina adds. A tragedy Gynax says. Is Ragel still in Arwinter or has he headed back to Albion Mujina says. He's here at the banquet Gynax says and drinks more wine, he making connections but hearing your view. I may have to change my opinion of him he adds and rises from his sofa. Enjoy the rest of the banquet and I'll have your prize sent to you and he finishes, leaving with his guards. Should we confront Ragel? Naruto asks. No. He will never admit any wrongdoing Mujina says and Naruto rises from his seat. Well. Shall we dance Naruto says, holding out his hand. Mujina reaches out her hand and takes Naruto's hand as they head back to the banquet hall but they were being watched. How is that trash-free Ragel thought, watching Mujina dance with Naruto and continues to watch them until they leave. Naruto and Mujina leaves the Imperial Palace as a shadow follows them, Boya Musashi says. I know Naruto thought. The shadow makes his moves once they were well away from the palace. Why are you free trash Ragel says. Because I freed her Naruto says, as they turn to the arrogant high elf. How is he doing? Has he replaced me with his pure daughter Mujina says, showing some confidence. You would dare speak to me Ragel says. She dares Ragel. Because she free. Her spark of life has grown into an inferno Naruto says and Ragel gnashes his teeth but his arrogance comes forth. Is she your plaything human? She is trash only meant to suck cocks Ragel says, disgust dripping from human. What you do to your lover is none of our business. Besides Mujina is as pure as the snow Naruto says. Wretched human Ragel says but Naruto scoffs. You may call me wretched but I am no coward like you Naruto says and Regal's mouth puckers up. Balerian told us how you laid your low for spare you he adds and snaps his fingers, as a realization hits him. We were meant to be sacrifices. The familius. The workers and even Guilin Naruto says and Regal's eyes widen. Sacrifices, Mujina says. Yes. We were all meant to throw ourselves at Balerian and he would strike him down. gaining prestige and glory. However, you didn't know about the 4 kings or the trap laying in wait. In fact, you were transported to Balerion himself. You saw the power the possessed and immediately folded, Naruto says, and Ragel is seething, before shooting forward with a punch, but Naruto catches. Ragel cries out in pain and falls to his knees as Naruto squeezes, instead of you. Ragel Burin Holeth being the triumphant hero. It was a lowly human like me and my partner Mujina, Naruto says and leans closer. Call her trash again and I'll make you wish you died as a child, he adds, before crushing Regal's hand and leave him clutching his now permanently broken hand. You destroyed his hand, Mujina says. I did. Now he can't please his lover or he's lefty, Naruto says, and Mujina softly laughs. 2 days later, one of the Emperor's guards deliver Naruto's prize from the gladiatorial tournament of a sack of precious stones and a letter of introduction to the Queen of Albion named Raylia Morella Threne. That same day they leave Arwinter for Albion, which is about a 2-week journey to the Kingdom of Elves. The Queen already knows we're here, Naruto says, riding Seafire next Mujina on Dryger. Mujina looks into the canopy of trees as the sun passes through. Yes. Queen Raylia is in tune with nature like your sage mode, she says. Seafire neighs and lifts on her back legs as 3 arrows strike the ground before them while Dryger growls. Mujina and Naruto look to the high trees and see 3 high elves with bows trained on them, but one has the air of a seasoned warrior. Why are humans in our forest, he says, in Elvish. I am Mujina Tesha. He is Naruto Uzumaki. We are here to meet Queen Raylia Morella Threne. We have a letter of introduction from Emperor Gynax Vita Dalis 4-inch, Mujina says, in Elvish. Naruto uses observe on the 3 and the warrior of them is Keslan. He's strong, he thought. Follow us but no false moves. I will escort you to the Queen, Keslan says. He is your typical elf with long silver blonde hair, long ears and hazel eyes, wearing a dark outfit with a dark dragon bow. We will, Mujina says and looks to Naruto. They'll escort us, she adds, speaking normal. Lead the way, Naruto says. Several more elves appear around them and begin escorting them towards the kingdom as Naruto keeps his eyes forward but glances several times. They pass through a barrier and beautiful city comes into view with buildings intertwined with nature and trees having wooden bridges linking them. Beautiful, Naruto says. Indeed. Many villages are similar, Mujina says. Numerous elves from old to young were watching them from above, with some judging Naruto but more so Mujina as she is a half-elf. They soon reach the largest tree that has several buildings. The queen is in the great hall, Keslan says, speaking normally. Naruto dismounts Seafire and someone takes her as Mujina climbs off Dryger while she shrinks, cautious he thought, as arrows were trained on them the entire walk to the great hall and some were speaking Elvish. Naruto sees Mujina frown and takes her hand. I'm here, he says, and Mujina softly nods. They enter the great hall and it majestic with carvings on the walls, tapestries, and sitting on what appears to a throne is the elven Queen Raylia Morella Threne. Queen Raylia. These people have a letter of introduction from Emperor Gynax Vita Dalis IV of Tristram, Keslan says, in Elvish. Raylia is indeed the definition of beauty with 2 different color eyes. One is green and the other is a multitude of colors. Her white hair is long and bushy as she wears green dress. Queen Raylia. I am Mujina Tesha and he is Naruto Uzumaki. We greet the Queen of Albion, Mujina says, in Elvish and kneel to one knee with Naruto mimicking her. Keslan, the letter, Raylia says, in Elvish. Yes, Mother, Keslan says in Elvish and takes the letter from Mujina. Keslan hands the letter to Raylia and she slowly begins to read it as her emotions shift several times. Mujina Tesha. Naruto Uzumaki. Rise, she says, speaking normally and both do so. You both have done Albion a service by killing the obsidian dread Balerion. Name your price and I will pay it, Raylia says, shocking many. All we ask is to see Alania Lia Niena and deliver her sister Gwylan Lia Niena's ashes, Mujina says, and a look of sadness forms in Raylia's face. A great loss, Raylia says in Elvish and clears her throat. I will have Keslan escort you Alania's tower, she adds, speaking normally. Thank you, Queen Rayleigh, Mujina says, but Naruto suddenly throws his left hand up and he's thrown forward with arrow through his left hand. There, Keslan shouts, pointing to the entrance, and a figure has a crossbow. She vanishes and in a swirl of fire as Mujina rushes to Naruto's side. Are you all right? Mujina says, as Naruto staggers to his feet and slow pulls out the arrow. I'm. Naruto says, before his vision blurs and he collapses. Naruto, Mujina shouts. Rayleigh rushes off her throne and picks up the arrow to sniff it with her eyes widening. He's been poisoned, she says, and looks her people, call the healers. Keslan. Help me take him one of the rooms, she adds. Mujina follows them to one of the rooms as Naruto's left arm is turning purple and he's beginning to sweat profusely. Who was that woman? Mujina says. I intend to find out. That arrow was meant for me, Rayleigh says, as Keslan and Mujina's eyes widen. They reach a room with a low bed and Keslan drops Naruto on it as Rayleigh tears open his shirt as veins on his body are becoming purple and pronounced. This poison is aggressive, Rayleigh says, as her hands begin to glow a shining gold. Naruto's pained face slowly relaxes while Mujina comes around to his right side as his eyes slowly open. What happened? He whispers, his voice slurred. You've been poisoned. I'm trying to heal you, Rayleigh says. Naruto slowly lifts his right from the bed and brings it to his mouth, before biting his thumb and smearing blood into his palm with a few one-hand signs. Kuchios no Jutsu, Naruto slurs, before Rayleigh could ask and slams his hand down. A puff of smoke forms and Princess Shuna appears. Naruto, she says. He's been poisoned, Mujina says. Shuna immediately places her hand and a seal array forms on his chest while Rayleigh heals. You are an Oni, Rayleigh says. Yes. I am the princess of the Oni Summon clan, Shuna says, pulling her hand back, an orb of purple liquid in her hand. Shuna then rattles off several items she needs to create an antidote for Naruto, and Rayleigh takes the princess to her healers as Mujina remains behind. Hours pass as Shuna and Rayleigh work to make the antidote as Keslan searches for the assassin, while news spreads of Naruto and Mujina's arrival, which reaches the ears of a certain elf. Mujina dips a cloth in hot water bowl and wrings it out to place it on Naruto's forehead to bring down his fever. His skin is marred by purple blotches, but it has stopped spreading thanks Rayleigh's healing. So, you've survived, a cold voice says, and Mujina freezes with her eyes wide. Mujina's flickering blue eyes turn before her head as in the doorway with the moon illuminating is a figure she knows all too well. Why you, she whispers. The man before them is her father, Ignore Kair Elrond, and the man who sold her away, having grown tired of her presence in his home. Why are you here? Mujina says. I came to see the human who saved Queen Rayleigh and to think you would be with him, Ignore says, arms behind his back. He is slightly muscular elf with combed back silver hair and cold golden eyes, dressed in suit-like uniform. You now resemble your mother, Ignore says, and Mujina glares at him. Why do you care? Mujina says. I don't. I was simply stating a fact, Ignore says. Mujina rises from Naruto's side and moves in front his bed with about 2 feet between them as Ignore moves closer. Naruto is not up to speaking with anyone. I'm sure you heard the arrow meant for Queen Rayleigh was poisoned, she says. I did. Queen Rayleigh was fortunate you two were here. However, why are you here? Ignore says, now looming over Mujina, and she avoids his cold gaze. I would not have returned if not for Guilin. She was killed during Balerian's subjugation and her last request was to bring her ashes to her sister Alania, Mujina says. Guilin Lia Niena. Shame, Ignore says and looks towards Naruto. To think my daughter has the queen in her debt, he adds, and Mujina shockingly gives him an incredulous laugh. Now I'm your daughter. No. Melian Kair Elrond is your daughter. I'm your shame. The child you had with a human, Mujina says and holds her chest with a resolute look. I'm the child of Annalise Tesha. My father is someone I don't know, she says. Ignore gnashes his teeth and reaches out to grab Mujina, but a hand grabs his wrist as she is pulled back into the embrace of someone. Don't put your hands on her, Naruto says, his eyes blood red with black slits and his whiskers thicker. Naruto, Mujina says, and Naruto squeezes Ignore's wrist tighter. Calm down, Musashi, Naruto says, his voice strained. Why you Ignore begins but finds himself in front of a very large cage. Two red eyes open in the dark cage as heavy ki escapes and Musashi comes into view in her full fox form while her 9 tails swish menacingly like stingers, before she unleashes a deafening roar that tears through Ignore as the world becomes normal again. The proud and cool elf backs away in horror as Raylia comes with Shuna. What are you doing here, Igor Kyer Elrond? Raylia says. He intended to use me to earn a debt with you, Queen Raylia, Mujina says, before Ignore could speak. He covers his mouth with a seething frightened look as Naruto smirks weakly but Ignore leaves without saying anything. Good. He's gone. Thanks for the chakra, Musashi, Naruto says and falls. Naruto, Mujina says, catching him. Raylia and Mujina help Naruto back to the bed as Shuna shakes her head. We have an antidote for him but he'll need to take it several times, Shuna says. Thank the Night Mother, Mujina whispers and Shuna is confused. She is our goddess, Raylia says and Shuna slowly nods, pulling an injector from her sleeve that has reddish liquid inside. The first injection will be painful. We'll need to hold him down, Shuna says. Raylia raises her hands forward and vines come from the floor to essentially tie Naruto to the bed. Naruto's eyes shoot open as Shuna injects him and cries out in pain as Mujina watches helplessly, but after a few minutes he stops, settling back down while his face is still pained as he sweats. We'll need to keep him hydrated as the antidote and his body fight the poison, Shuna says. I'll have some porridge made for him and some green leaf tea, Raylia says, before a guard arrives and reveals Keslan has found something. Mujina and Shuna remain at Naruto's side before the former begins to pen a letter to Tsunade, Sarada, Kaguya, and his death. They'll be worried, Shuna says. I would be too, Mujina says, beginning her letters. Shuna watches both her summoner and the half-elf as she changes the towel on Naruto's forehead. Mujina. Do you love Naruto, Shuna says, and Mujina freezes. I've only known Naruto for a few months but we've gone through so much together. Being adventurers. Meeting and saving Dryger. Going through the dungeon in Ouroboros. He saved me. Cared for me and pulled me from being close to ending my life, Mujina say and pauses for a moment, touching her heart with soft sigh. However, I do love him, Mujina says. He loves you too, and maybe one of 6, but Naruto will love you equally, Shuna says, and Mujina softly laughs. He'll have it rough. Though I've never met them in person. They are strong women, Mujina says. They are. Tsunade is the daughter of powerful people and granddaughter of a very powerful man. Sarada is from another powerful family, same with Kaguya. And his death lost family but became strong, Shuna says, checking Naruto over once again. Hours pass as Shuna gives him several injections and the blotches vanish but his left hand is left with nasty scars from the initial wound. Poison immunity unlocked. Naruto's eyes slowly flutter open and moves on his side with a groan but looks at his left hand. No serious damage but will leave a scar, Musashi says. The scar covers his hand on both sides like a burn and his veins on his left arm are black. This poison did some damage, Naruto says. He slowly sits up and finally notices he's shirtless but lifts the sheet to find he is wearing underwear with a sigh of relief. He brings up his stats and sees only 2 of them went up but unlocked a poison immunity. Naruto whispers. You were also unconscious for 3 days. The poison was indeed powerful. If not for Saiyan body, you would be even more debilitated, Musashi says. Something meant for Queen Raylia, Naruto says, bringing up his store and searching for a glove for his left hand. Naruto. You're awake, Mujina says, in the doorway with a tray of warm water and Naruto slowly waves. Dryger leaps on the bed and into Naruto to rub her head on his stomach which tickles a bit as Mujina speed walks in to place the tray down, before hugging him and his face going between her breasts thanks to a low-cut dress. It is floor length and a light green color with gold trim and has slits to her hips, forcing her to wear her black tights and wide cuffs. You were unconscious for 3 days, Mujina says. Musashi told me, Naruto says, as she slowly pulls back. How are you feeling, Naruto adds, rubbing the back on his neck. I'm alright and he hasn't showed his face, Mujina says. That's good, Naruto says as a small silence forms. Have you went to see Alania? I know me getting poisoned ruined that, he adds, after about 2 minutes. I wanted you to be awake. Keslan offered to escort me, Mujina says. I can take you now, Naruto says, but Mujina shakes her head. Shuna said to take it easy for at least 5 days or she will come back, Mujina says. Naruto sighs and falls back as Dryger pounces on his chest. Fine, he says, and Mujina kneels down next to him. She reaches out to touch his whiskers with the back of her hand as Naruto has his eyes closed. Will you teach me some Elvish, he says. I can. The first will be I love you, Mujina says, with I love you in Elvish. What does it mean, Naruto says, and Mujina kisses his cheek. A secret for now, Mujina says, smiling as Keslan comes. Mujina Tesha. Are you ready to depart, Keslan says. Yes. Dryger will stay with you and make sure you don't do anything, Mujina says and rises, fixing her dress as Naruto waves dismissively and she waves as well. And that wraps up today's chapter of Naruto, the gamer experience. Naruto's journey is only getting crazier. New powers, stronger enemies, bigger mysteries, and legendary battles still await. If you enjoyed this chapter, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload. Comment below, what was your favorite moment in this chapter? Until next time. Keep grinding. Keep leveling up. And I'll see you in the next chapter.